What's up, you guys? It's 2Bricks, and today I just wanted to bring you a quick little Let's Build video for a small model that I've been wanting to do for actually quite a long time. It is the Imperial Star Destroyer, and the reason that I've wanted to do this for a long time is that I've seen a lot of microscale, nanoscale Imperial Star Destroyers, and the one thing that they never seem to have is a fine point. You know, the Star Destroyer is very iconic for its triangular, aggressive shape and it's a very sharp kind of front section here. And most people who build small Star Destroyers tend to use these plates, and then it ends with this very flat nose. And so I just wanted to use this technique that I've known for a long time of how to get snot bricks, bricks on their side, to come to a nice fine point at the front here, and just apply that to a Star Destroyer model and show you guys how to build one in case you guys happen to be making a microscale fleet for yourselves, or you want something that scales with your giant Super Star Destroyer model, and this could maybe fit the bill. So yeah, that's what we're going to be looking at today. And I just wanted to give you guys a little quick rundown of some of the features of this model and why I think it's a superior mini-scale Star Destroyer compared to a lot of the ones that I've seen. I like the fact that in here I have this little tiny indication of these small engines that sit kind of nestled between the really gigantic ones, and I'm just using one of the newer style of jumper plates, and that gives you that little kind of detail in there, which I really appreciate. I wanted to get the little area here, the docking bay, where the Tantive V4 is captured into. That's what, the iconic first shot of the Star Destroyer, and you can see the Tantive V4 gets captured into the docking bay there. So that was an important feature, and again, something I don't really see represented very often on small Star Destroyer models. The little, I think this is the reactor, main reactor down here. I always feel like that's super huge and bulbous and like this massive sphere, but it's actually just a very kind of small thing. So I wanted to just make sure that that was represented accurately. And then the proportions of the overall superstructure and where it attaches. Again, I see a lot of times people use the single round studs to represent these shield generators up here, but they're actually pretty small structures, so I think using these inkwell pieces works out really well for that. So just, I think overall, in general, I'm really happy with all the different features and things about a Star Destroyer that are represented here in this model. And if you guys are interested in knowing how to build one and what the parts are that I used, check out down in the description. There is a link for the digital file, which you can open up in studio.io, and you can export a parts list from there, and you can see exactly what I used to build this. So without further ado, let's get into the building. All right, so as with the raise speeder, I'm going to go ahead and do everything in sub-assemblies, so that way it's easier for you guys to digest each chunk instead of just having a whole ton of parts on the screen at once. So I think this makes it easier. So we'll start off with the superstructure of the Star Destroyer, where we take these two 6x3 wedge plates, and we're going to place a 2x4 on top, like so. And then into the front here, we're going to place these two quarter round tiles, and then into this back section here, we're going to place our two gray ingot pieces. Then into the back here, we're going to plug in these 2x3 wedge plates, one on either side. And then onto the top of the superstructure here, we're going to go with an ingot, a 1x2 regular gray plate, one of these relatively new 1x3 jumpers, a regular jumper, and then that completes the second kind of level, the second deck. I'm going to place two 1x2 tiles, or sorry, 1x2 tiles on there. And I like to use the two separate 1x2s because it gives you that line down the middle, and it kind of, you can imagine the separation where there's like a little bit of angle that actually exists on the real model. I mean, you don't actually obviously have that, but I just like seeing that center line. And then last, we just take these 1x1 gray plates and we place those into here, like so. Then we can do the main bridge section. Very simply, just take our roller skate piece, That kind of represents the, I think it's like the deflector array or something. I forget exactly what the name of that is, but it's something that changed on the two Star Destroyer models between A New Hope and Empire, and it's been incorrectly replicated ever since. And I like that they actually gave you the ability on the new Star Destroyer model, the UCS one, to have that either way, so you could have one or the other. So yeah, these two inkwell pieces represent the shield generators. Then we have a 1x1 round stud underneath for the neck. We plug that into one of these specialized wedge pieces with the cutout, like so. And we just take our two 1x1 regular plates, we place those into the back, like so, and then that whole structure just clips in to that one jumper stud right there. So there's your main superstructure. And actually this kind of reminds me of a lot of Lego's own microscale Star Destroyers. It would literally just kind of have this section, and you know, like I said, that stubby nose would be what would bother me all the time. So anyway, there's the superstructure. Okay, so next up we'll make the little triangular body section. So we'll go ahead and take these two 1x4 slopes and plug those in together. And we'll take these two, do the same thing. Then we connect together this 1x1 bracket to this 1x2 dark gray tile. Place another one on the other side. And we take each of these and we place them on either side. What I love about these bracket pieces is the ability to have these sideways built structures come completely perfectly together like that. I love that. So then onto the inside of each of these, we place our 1x2 brackets. Just take that off, I guess. There you go. So there that is. Next we'll build up the back portion. So take our 1x4 slope, place it into the 1x4 plate. We take our modified bricks here with the two plates on the side. Got a 1x2 and then I have a 1x1. You can use a 1x1 with a stud on both sides. I just happen to have ones with a single stud, but either will work. And actually the one with two studs would make it probably a little stronger. So yeah, feel free to do that, make that substitution. And then place the 1x3 red brick in here. And then onto the bottom of this, place our 2x3 wedge plate. And we do the same on this side. So we start with our modified brick with the stud on the one side, modified brick with the stud on the two sides. Place our 1x4 plate, 1x4 slope, and onto the bottom the 2x3 wedge plate. So these sections come together to create the body, and we need the superstructure to be able to connect them together. So over the exposed studs that we have here from these brackets, we place this front section. That just all goes together nicely. And I just use the table to flatten this out so it stays together nicely. And then we place these other two sections behind, one there and one there. Just using those studs that we have left over from the modified brackets. And we have a little slot here where the engines are going to go. And we're really making progress now. So let's move on. Alright, and here's the final portion, the underside of the main hull. So we're going to take our two 2x3 wedge plates, place those together. We're going to hold them in place with a 1x2 Technic brick with a single hole. And then that's going to house our first main engine. So the way we create that is by placing a single stud into that hole right there for the 1x1 gray plate. And then we take one of our, I think this is medium silver or medium flat silver. I forget the exact name of Lego's colors. There's a lot of them. But yeah, I just used a metallic color because I wanted to have the engines look a little more, you know, metallic. Take a 1x1 Technic brick with a single hole and take a second one, place it on the other side, like so. And then that gives you the space to plug in your 1x2 jumper piece and a second 1x2 jumper piece into the other hole on the other side. And those just line up perfectly. I can just squish it down. And then I take my other two silver studs and I place them on either side for the other two engines. And then onto the bottom, I can place my 1x2, or I guess 2x2 smaller wedge plates. and that just finishes off the triangle shape on the bottom. Next up, we can build the reactor core section and the underside of the hull. So take a 2x3 plate and place a 2x2 modified jumper on there, and a 2x2 dish piece. We take this wedge plate with a cutout, and we'll place that in there. And then onto the bottom of that, we place a 1x3 double jumper piece. We take a 2x2 gray tile, plug it into there, and then finally a 1x2 plate onto that exposed stud. Let me bring back our main Star Destroyer model here, and you see that this will fit neatly into that section that we left right there. And then the engine section plugs right in to the back here, and you just use those 4 studs to hold the whole thing in place like so. There you go. I'd like to get the engines nice and lined up, you know. So there is your Star Destroyer, and then I just have a very simple stand. Just 2 pieces, the 1x4 rod piece plugged into the minifigure display stand, and then that just plugs into the bottom of the reactor. So there you are. There is your mini scale or micro scale Star Destroyer. Alright you guys, so there is your micro scale Star Destroyer. I really hope that you enjoy building one and having one on your desk or wherever you're going to put it, or if you don't have a desk, on a shelf or something. Yeah, I really enjoyed designing this. I've actually never built a Star Destroyer before, so this was a really cool challenge to be able to really like dive in and look at the proportions and the complex geometry that goes into this vehicle. It's a really, really cool and iconic spaceship design, so really happy to have one. And I'm actually planning on doing a couple of other ships in the Star Destroyer family. I want to do a Venator class Star Destroyer from the Clone Wars era. Oh, I say I want to, I actually already have that built. And then I want to do the sequel era ones, the Resurgent class Star Destroyers, which are quite a bit bigger. About this is about 2/3 the size of Resurgent class Star Destroyer, so that'll be a fun little challenge. And then we'll have kind of a little series going. So if you guys have any other requests for different Star Destroyer models that you want to see, leave those down in the comments. I definitely am interested to know what other kinds of ships you guys would like me to create at this scale. So yeah, that's it for today guys. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoy your Star Destroyer. See you on the next one, and may the Force be with you.